Alright, so 4 weeks ago, I pulled my hamstring. I pulled it pretty badly. I was on a climb at a bouldering session and I reached up, grabbed the hold, had my leg up, and as I've moved, I felt a pop, pretty bad one. I've immediately came off the wall. I felt a pins and needles sensation down the back of my leg, and I thought, oh, that's not good. Immediately stopped climbing, went home. I was in quite a lot of pain actually. So then what I did was I went home, got some ice on it, and then the next day when I got up, I could really struggle to walk. One of the guys in work, he actually said it's probably a hamstring tear because he plays football, so he's had a few of them. Later on that night, I had a look at it, and from the bottom of my backside to the bottom of my thigh was black and blue. So I've done it properly. This video is basically going to be about what I've been doing the past 4 weeks to kind of rehab the injury. So let's get into it. So day one, I didn't do anything. I rested it. I basically did nothing. So it just sat on the couch, elevated it, put some ice on it, tried to do as little as possible. I took the dog for a walk around the block, and that was about as strenuous as it got. So really that was kind of it for the first couple of days. By the end of week one, the swelling was kind of down. The bruising was starting to come through. So it was kind of, at that point, it was kind of starting to turn that yellow way, the bruising. I was still limping, but I could at least kind of start some gentle exercise to kind of keep it moving. I didn't want it stiffening up and kind of getting worse. So I kind of started to kind of do very, very light stretches. I pressed my heel into the floor when I was sitting down, just to remind the muscle it still exists, really. Week two, I kind of shifted into a little bit more of a intensive rehab. The pain was still there, but then I started to kind of do more stretching, kind of straightening it out, leaning forward, and just kind of feeling where the pain was starting, and kind of just hold it there. I wasn't kind of trying to kind of do anything or overdo it. I stopped climbing. I stopped doing any kind of climbing. Week two, I went back to swimming. I did some swimming, and I did some mild walking, but that was really the only exercise I was doing. Week three, I started kind of getting a little bit more into the stretching, different stretches. This is week four and I still feel it, but I only really feel it when I'm sitting down. If I'm up walking about, I'm fine. I've been back at the climbing. I started some sport climbing probably going into the third week. I started doing sport climbing because I was just basically learning ropes and belaying and stuff like that, so it wasn't anything overly intensive. It was something I could handle. And the climbs, I was doing relatively easy climbs. It wasn't like bouldering, where you're constantly under tension. So I just basically did that. Week three, I could walk with it almost a limp. I added a little bit more strength work in. Just very, very light. Some squats and stuff like that, just up and down bodyweight squats, nothing with any weights or anything to kind of push any limits. I also started rolling out the muscle, because I felt like there was some kind of fibrous kind of scar tissue on the back of it, on the back of my leg. So I've kind of been rolling that out on like things like dumbbells and balls at the gym, and I could feel it, like I kind of almost looked gristly, and that's slowly started to break down. The other thing that I've been doing as well was massaging the back of the muscle, but because of where it is, I couldn't really get any real leverage on it, so I used this, and this is something that I use for shoulder issues, like taking knots out of muscles and stuff like that. So because I can basically kind of hook it round and I can dig it into the muscle, and I can kind of get that spot where I feel it's kind of like gristly. I can try and kind of break it down. That was kind of helping quite a lot after probably a couple of weeks when it wasn't kind of as sensitive to kind of touch. I think that did help. Now I'm at 4 weeks, so it's been 4 weeks now. I'm still, I'm still not 100%. I've still got a bit of pain when I've been sitting down and I get up, and there's still a little bit of stiffness there. I retested myself on the 9C test the other day, and I really struggled to get the L sits in. Whereas previously, before, they weren't that much a challenge, but I was really struggling to hold the legs up, and they were just kind of dropping. So I was thinking I was maybe 90% there, but to get to where I was previously, I think I'm probably about 60 to 70% of the way there. So I think I've probably still got another 3 weeks ahead of me, maybe a month, before I get back to where I was. So that's why I've kind of been taking it easy. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been uploading any videos, because I've not really been climbing to kind of do anything. I just don't want to re-injure it, because it's been a pretty humbling experience. But yeah, so that's the current story.